A lot of people's asked me about my story, and I'm just never really been comfortable about giving it. But and a lot of people's asked me about how the organization came to be, and well, PTSD is a pretty real thing, and I still remember the day that I kind of just decided on a lot of these things. Uh, I started reaching out to a lot of the guys that I'd served with in Iraq. It was kind of the family that I felt closest to. I mean, once you go through and you go to Iraq, you get shot at, blown up, all the typical stories I guess you'd probably hear from just about anywhere. It just kind of affects you, and whenever you live a life with a bunch of guys, a group of guys, and women, and I mean that becomes your life. And when you get back home, like it's just one of those things to where you don't feel like you're at home anymore. Your family don't feel like your family. Your friends don't feel like your friends. It's like no one that you can really turn to answer for anything. And literally, I'd already decided that I was just going to end things. I started reaching out to a lot of the guys and trying to get everyone together, kind of a final goodbye. And there's a lot of time lapse in there that I don't really recall and I don't really remember. I remember it was a normal day, nothing going on. Uh, my wife was working crazy hours to where she was gone a lot. And we had a swimming pool. I remember going out there and just trying to relax out there in the pool. And I remember just getting out and sitting in one of our lawn chairs, and it just felt like a whole wall caving in around me. And to the point where I really felt like I was going to end things right there. My dad was living next door. I had already texted my wife and kind of told her, on a basic portion of things. Uh, and she was trying to get off, trying to, get to where she could come home. And I didn't think I was going to last that long. I got a hold of my dad. My dad came over, um, and he sat with me until my wife got there. Uh, my wife's usually pretty good at kind of calming things down, and that just didn't happen. Uh, anyways, long story short, she ended up carrying me to the hospital. I remember having to sit in a room and them talking to me about all kinds of different stuff. I remember them bringing in one of the teleprompters and me having to talk to a therapist on that teleprompter, and all that, different stuff. And, uh, they gave me some antidepressants and all that kind of shit before I left. And, for years, I tried going to the VA, and I tried to do so many different things, and they've tried me out on so many things, and it almost seemed like anything that was actually working that would actually help is the things that they would take me off of and start guinea pigging me to other things. And it was to a point where I didn't know my life, and I couldn't tell you if I was coming or going. Everything was kind of tunnel vision. I could be in the same room with my wife and my kids, and I didn't know what was going on. I knew that the TV was on, but I couldn't tell you if they were playing a game or if they were watching a movie, a TV show, or anything else. I was just there, and I just really lost myself. I didn't know where to go. You know, this once family that I had, you know, that would probably understand, like, wasn't around no more. You know, I was actually trying, after Iraq, I was trying to go to Afghanistan, and apparently I took a psych eval. I had failed, and that started me coming out of the military. And I don't even remember taking the psych eval during our demobilization. I don't remember. I don't remember a lot of it. Um, yeah, but after 18 months of pure hell of getting shot at, blown up, and it just it wasn't part of my mindset, and I really have a hard time focusing with my mindset even these days. I still have trigger moments, and I can't help anyone with it because I don't know what triggers me. Some days are good, some days are bad. But yeah, like, I don't know, man. These companies started getting involved. The people started getting involved. Want to sponsor, want to donate, and we decided, to do it for all veterans and all veteran supporters. And after the first year, it wasn't going to be an annual thing. It was just going to be a one and done. Like I said, I'd already wrapped it in my mind that my time here was done. And we held our soldiers dinner, and there was a few, not very many, but a few of our guys that was in Iraq with me that actually showed up. And that didn't really help my mindset at all. And honestly, I just don't know, out of all these years of keeping going on, on what's actually kept me going. But yeah, I mean, like I said, back then, whenever all this started, my wife was working crazy hours. She wasn't really around. My ex-wife, she kind of had it to where my kids were against me, and still to this day, if I hear from them at all, it's because they need money or whatever. There's not no Happy Father's Day, no Merry Christmas, Happy Birthdays, or any of that kind of stuff. And I talked to so many other veterans that have gone through the same, and as much as I try to help, and we actually have avenues to make some of this stuff possibilities, but I just really don't have the answers. I've been trial run on just about every medication out there, and none of it's really worked out for me. It's just one of those deals I don't have the answer for. I take each day at a time. Whenever it comes down to people to listen, like, I really just don't have that, because there's not really a lot of people that's experienced the same things that I have. And to a point, you get similar experiences from talking to other vets, but not exactly there whenever the things have went down and such. And so, anyways, with all that being said, that's where the Hill Country Veterans Alliance was born. That's where Soldiers Dinner was born. And each year, I mean, I'm fairly certain what keeps me going is just the amount of veterans that we're able to help, the amount of people that we're able to cycle a new life for. And it's amazing on how many veterans you reach, how many people that are active duty that you reach, and be able to let them know that there is something beyond the military. And once you get out, because you're trained to be in, you might as well be reborn again, because everything that you learned growing up is completely different from everything that you're trained for the military. And You just get kicked back out into a civilian life, and nobody knows where to go with things, and it just turns into depression. No matter PTSD, not PTSD, no matter what the case is, it's just you're going to fall into depression. It's just a downward spiral because you're taking all these years of pretty much being brainwashed into one thing and trying to come back and cycle into another. You can't take a life of high anxiety on every moment of your life for how many ever years, and then people just tell you you're safe, you're back home, and that meaning anything to you. You can understand it, you just can't process it, and your mind's probably never going to process it. So, reaching out to, I'm not saying just our group, but other groups, and just having, those people that are there for you and seeing your options, weighing your options, and having something. Most people don't realize it, but whenever you get out, you don't have a purpose. And you really just got to get out there and find your purpose all over again. And I really think that my purpose is this organization. I've definitely put a lot of time, a lot of man hours, a lot of everything into it. And I mean, it's one thing that we are growing. I see our growth, every year, and it's something that I just hope that continues to grow because, like I said, I feel like it's my purpose, and even with this gain, I take a lot of losses, and there's so many things that I'd like to say to people, and I just don't have the wording to be able to make that possible. It's just one of those deals to where it is, as much as I want to help everyone, I mean, to include my wife, she deserves answers behind my actions, behind this, and that, and I don't have them. Like, I can't explain something that I can't process myself, and so it sucks for her because that's just one more thing that she's got to live with, and that's something that she's bringing into her life, on all of it. We weren't married whenever I was in the military, so she didn't get to see that just kind of casually grow or anything else. But I guess more on the positive side. She was with me after, so my being an asshole or smart ass or anything else, she's taken on full fledged like since the beginning, or at least the beginning of us. But it's really hard out there, guys. It really is. And I really noticed that the years that we're into an actual war, everyone wants to get involved with the veterans. Everyone wants to get involved with, your active duty soldiers and everything. But, when there's no war going on, they act like the war in everyone's heads just disappeared and no one needs help anymore. But I'm here to personally tell you that I struggle every day, and I've seen a lot, but there's a lot of guys out there that's seen so much more, is missing limbs, missing life, from what they've gave. And so every single year, I'm going to continue to push to try to help everyone, as many as I can help. I'm not looking for a legacy. I'm not looking for anything else. All I'm looking for is to give a veteran a chance, to give them one more day, and well, yeah, just one more day of life. I mean, if they end it tomorrow, but I could give them today, then maybe that was just I couldn't stop that process. As far as their thoughts, but I try every day to make at least one more day for another veteran. The 22 a day is ridiculous, and really that number's way higher than that, but I won't get into that on this. But anyways, guys, struggle's real. And as I said, there's lots of groups out there. We might not be the best one. There might be several other out there that might be what you're looking for, what you need, but go find your purpose.